Welcome back, YouTubers, to another Ring of Honor TV show with us, the British Fist.
Go, Jinx.
Slanted at a bit of a 45-degree angle today. We are a bit like Ring of Honor's booking team, in our opinion, and entertainment affiliates. I am Mr. Parkin. This guy's sitting next to me at a 90-degree angle. In case you can't see that, that's a 90-degree angle mathematics there. It's NJ.
What's up?
Going at a nice 180-degree angle there, and make sure you guys subscribe above at a nice 360-degree angle, like that thumb at that 90-degree angle, and comment your thoughts down there. It's a nice 120-degree angle.
Well, if you contact us, and then make good box below.
What angle is that?
Straight down.
Straight down. That's not an angle, but there we go. I wish we'd see some angles in Ring of Honor, as in like storylines and stuff, because we're not. Get your head up, MJ. Come on, that's just childish. Anyways, let's do this review. Ring of Honor. Okay, so. Wow, we've got about 2 weeks to go till Showdown in the Sun. We finally got some 9th anniversary show follow-up in this show. It's just a shame that instead of really having it last week, when we really should have had the follow-up last week after the iPay-per-view, we're getting it now. And my question is, it's 2 weeks away from the iPay-per-view, and you're now trying to follow up a pay-per-view when you barely built up the other pay-per-view you've done. So, you know, just why now? Why could it not have been done last week? And there's some things in this show I really disagreed with, in my opinion. Your thoughts before we go into this show?
There's only one segment that stands out to me. We'll get to that later.
Yeah, and it wasn't even a wrestling match for all you ROH bots out there that thinks wrestling is a fantastic thing. But anyway, we got a video package to start the show of the main event of the 10th anniversary show. You know, the main event, which we were the only ones in this community that really seemed to think it was that it was a bad main event. Everyone else seemed to think it was a great main event. And exactly, and that says so much. If the product can't keep your attention with its main event, then something's wrong. I'm just saying. So we opened up the show this week with Adam Cole. This is interesting because he talked about his performance in the main event and the fact he got a pin over Davey Richards and that O'Reilly is refusing to respect him. And that leads us onto a match with Adam Cole versus Chris Silvio. Ring of Honor should sign Chris Silvio because he's just so different, and the fact that Kyle O'Reilly and Adam Cole are getting pushes at the moment is fucking ridiculous when you have a guy like Chris Silvio in there.
Oh, this match, again, for a wrestling match for an opener, it had its moves in, had some interesting, but again, it was just, in my opinion, a bit of a random match just to give Adam Cole a match on TV. Yeah,
it wasn't really about the match. It was more about this whole thing between Kyle O'Reilly and Adam Cole, and it now seems to get to the point where these two are feuding. So they were once a tag team. They've now broken up because of that whole 10th anniversary show thing. You had Kyle O'Reilly on commentary, and we all know how bad Kyle O'Reilly is on the mic. He was fucking terrible. Oh my god, this commentary business was fucking terrible. He can't act. He can't put any emotion in his voice. It's like he's reading a script, and he just can't talk to save his life.
And the whole thing is, the aftermatch, again, yes, it's building up to something, I guess, or just getting them to speak to each other, but I just found it boring. His words were understandable, but it's just boring, bland.
It comes out as very bland, and I'm reading off a script, and I can't put any emotion into my voice because I am reading, and I have to stick to this script. And that's just how it sounds to us. You know, so we're not really say too much about the match. It was okay. It went about 5 minutes, but it talked briefly about O'Reilly's TV match at Showdown in the Sun Night 1, and that Adam Cole has another shot at another time. And it's just like, how many things are you trying to do in this segment? You're putting the focus on Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly. You're trying to set up their match at Showdown in the Sun Night 2. And that's all fine and good. You know, give these two a match, get some on the card. I'm not sure why they're feuding, because I feel they're getting very exposed to singles wrestlers. They're just coming off as other, you know, ROH, you know, the guys that aren't different in any way. I'm not really sure why they're even getting pushed and why Adam Cole is so fucking special. I don't understand. See what's so special about these guys.
There's only two positive things about this. Adam Cole, we do complain there needs to be more people in the main event, so I guess they're trying to give Adam Cole the push up there. And the thing is that this is leading up towards the pay-per-view, so it's two good elements in the open, in my opinion.
It's just a shame it's just not very interesting.
That's the bad point to it.
Yeah, I mean, whatever. Just after that whole feud with Davey and Cole versus O'Reilly and Edwards and Cole versus Riley and O'Reilly and Richards, it just, these four characters just became so bland after that, and it's just like, why do we even give a shit? Then we get the segment that we were really looking forward to, even though we didn't know it was happening until we heard the oh! There's a whoop now. It's Kevin Steen. We had an interview segment with Kevin Steen, and we always like to see Kevin Steen on the TV screen. And we had a nice little video package of the Steen and Jacobs build and their match of the 10th anniversary show, finally following up on that. And we get the thing with the Davey Richards racket case. That was funny. You can't see me.
With Kevin Steen, again, they weren't actually built to this part of the show, but when he came out, it got more interesting because his words were more directional. We know where it's going to eventually lead to. So this part actually had more going for it than the rest of the show.
Yeah, he talked about his potential title shot against Eddie Edwards on Showdown in the Sun Night 2, and that he will be ROH World Champion sometime soon. And my God, ROH, if there was any time you needed a guy to win a championship, it's right now in the next couple of months with Kevin Steen. I'm just saying. Then Jim Cornette comes out, basically announces that we're going to get El Generico versus Kevin Steen at Showdown in the Sun Night 1. It's a Final Battle 2010 rematch, and if you saw that match, you'd realise that was a fantastic match. I must admit, I'm looking forward to seeing these two sort of reigniting their old rivalry in the Showdown in the Sun.
And the fact you can't do the power driver, it's going to give us a different way of finishing the match, because I still think Steen's going to probably get the overcome win. Just my prediction already, but it's just where I'll see Kevin Steen's return and him getting the win over a next feud. I'm just looking forward to this, and I just look forward to seeing these two go one-on-one against each other. You
expect it to be? I mean, I wonder if they're going to make it a no DQ or something. Who really knows? I think Kevin Steen is much better in no DQ matches. It does help his storytelling abilities and lack of, I guess, in-ring quality and ability, which sometimes that really isn't that important in these kind of things.
He did the backflip.
Oh yeah, he did a good. Oh yeah, he does good backflips. Yes. I'll give him that. So. It's a good segment. Consensus as Kevin Steen, he's actually an interesting character that we can actually buy into on the TV show, unlike most of these other ROH guys who are boring fucks. We got a good match for the pay-per-view, the iPay-per-view, I guess.
So we got the opener and now the Kevin Steen thing. Both had something to do with the pay-per-view, so far so good.
It's just a shame only that segment was interesting, though, wasn't it?
Very true, very true.
We then get an Inside ROH segment, and before we go on to this, I just want to say, MJ, how much filler was on this show? There was a ridiculous amount of filler on this show, wasn't there?
Quite a lot, and we'll get to more as we go on, but when we try to get built to a pay-per-view, we want less filler and more concentration towards pay-per-view.
I guess with an hour, they can't really concentrate on too much, but still, is it really... You could take on some of that filler time out and put in an extra in-ring segment, or just do something else other than the fucking stupid filler they do.
Because the thing with the spoilers quickly, inside ROH, there's a lot of things that could have been done on TV instead of inside ROH. That's how I saw it.
Yeah, I mean, inside ROH segments... I can see why ROH do them in the sense that they're getting loads of feuds talked about and stuff like that in one segment that they can't really do on the TV show because they don't have 2 hours or two 2-hour TV shows like a WWE or a 1 hour or a 2-hour TV show like TNA. So I can understand why they do it. It's just sometimes they get very long and drawn out and it's just like, oh, come on. And you just think to yourself, come on, Ring of Honor.
And before we get into this entire ROH, what was it said? How much more would you go to the pay-per-view?
2 weeks.
And the whole of this was basically about the pay-per-view. I thought this would be a good thing to do the week before. All this that we're getting now inside ROH. Instead of doing it now, I would have done it on the week before, just so they have their final say before the pay-per-view. I
can understand why they're doing it now in the sense that, you've got some guys on there that haven't really been on TV in some time. I mean, we had words from Lance Storm. He's got a match with Mike Bennett. It was nice to hear from Lance Storm. I think it would have been nice if they invited him to the TV tapings and maybe had a segment with Mike Bennett. I think that would have been a lot better. But again, I can understand why they do this kind of thing, this sort of canned backstage segment, talking about Bennett may have the talent, but he doesn't have the determination that he has. And I must admit, I'm quite looking forward to that match, Bennett versus Lance Storm.
Seeing Lance Storm again, temporarily, to put a guy over or put on a pretty good match, because he said that he can still wrestle. He's not just he's old, he can still wrestle. So I look forward to seeing his in-ring skills nowadays against Bennett. Yeah,
we had more. Davey Richards is so boring. Put some effort into your promos. They're so uninspiring. Even that promo with Randy Orton on Raw was more exciting than Davey Richards talking about his upcoming title match with Eddie Edwards and Roderick Strong. And I question if anyone has more passion than me. And it's just so boring. And fucking hell, I can't believe this guy is the fucking ROH World Champion. It's so hard to believe.
And it's sad that I think this whole Kevin Steen thing, they're going to make us want this match. I think they're going to make Kevin Steen wait. So Dave Richards is going to be the champ for a little while longer.
Which, you can understand why they're trying to build it up, but at the same time, it's really annoying people because no one wants Davey Richards as the champion anymore. It's just gotten so boring, and his title reign has been so boring and uninteresting. We just want to see it happen and have someone interesting in the main event scene. And, this is, this is the kind of problem you have when you're gonna have 2 nights, 8 matches on either night. You're having to hype 16 matches on an hour show, which only happens once a week. That's asking a little bit, that's asking a lot, isn't it? Of, to really provide substantial hype to 16 matches on a TV show, especially when they haven't been doing, especially when they just had a pay-per-view, what, 2 weeks ago?
Sadly, that is the case, and this is why I think, obviously, with an hour show, they really struggle with filler. They struggle with Inside ROH. It does its job because it gets wrestlers talking, but
Tunes you out.
pretty much, yes, that's it.
We got words from the Briscoes as well, talking about the world's greatest tag team, their fame, and talking about their ROH roots, which I thought was good. Then you have the words from Wrestling's greatest tag team saying they're going to win. You know, that should be a decent match. You have world's greatest tag team are now heel, Briscoes are now face. It should be a lot better than their diabolical match at Final Battle, which the heel and face dynamics were fucking messed up. It should at least be better. It'll be a nice grudge match, hopefully.
And I do look forward to the show when they're talking against each other, who can say the better thing, building up their match. I do enjoy stuff like this.
Yeah, it's mainly because world's greatest tag team can actually get some heat.
They can indeed.
They actually try and get some heat, and they're one of the only people really in Ring of Honor that actually try and get heat, really, aren't they?
Yes.
And in a business where drawing money is essentially about heat, that's important. But there we go.
Money, okay.
Oh, you fucking hell. Can I just say, Ring of Honor, this whole March Madness thing you're doing is one of the reasons why no newcomers are going to watch your show. We got this stupid March Madness concept where they're going to compete with 8 guys, whatever. It doesn't really matter. I don't give a shit. 8 guys are going to compete for $24,000. The days of people competing for money are over, Ring of Honor. We're not in the 1980s/90s anymore. It's reasons like this why Ring of Honor will never attract anyone new to their product, which is what the TV show is all about. And it's just a waste of TV time, in my opinion, when they should be hyping to their pay-per-view.
When I look at this match, yes, it's got 2 biggish names in. Well, pretty big names for ROH. But when it comes to the pay-per-view coming up, these 2 fighting for money instead of something to do with the pay-per-view, it was a bad main event. And I just thought, yes, the wrestling skill in the match might have been good, but
who gives a shit?
It was pretty bad.
You can do all the flippity-flops and whoopty-whoops in the world, but if no one gives a shit, just like the 10th anniversary, if no one gives a shit, what's the fucking point? I mean, what is this March Mayhem bullshit? Fighting for $24,000? Come on, the wrestling business has evolved since then, Jim Cornette, or whoever's booking this shit. This is the worst concept the Ring of Honor have ever fucking done, and it frustrates the fuck out of me. There might be people out there that like it, but fucking hell, really? Just Jay Lethal versus Roderick Strong. Why even watch it? You know, they're going to have a match at Showdown in the Sun Night too, so not only are you providing us a match, which we're going to see on iPay-Per-View, which we're expected to pay for, but you're not having a fight over money. I mean, it's not hyped to the pay-per-view. It's a waste of TV time. No wonder they're not going to be able to hype their fucking pay-per-view. What a pointless, stupid main event.
Normally, in the weeks before, we normally get like the next week's match announced, and this match really wasn't announced. It was just thrown in there, and I think it wasn't built up throughout the night. So for a main event, it really disappointed the show, because the show did give us, as we've been saying all along, pay-per-view build, and this was the only pretty much that didn't give us anything, sadly.
Well, this is just so stupid, Ring of Honor. Come on, let's evolve. You do realise that, you know, you need to build to this iPay-per-view and you need to try and get people's interest so they can actually buy them. I would love it if someone out there who has insight into the business could provide me with the Final Battle 2011 buy rates so I can have a look to see whether the TV show is actually, you know, achieving anything or not. Because I don't believe for 1 second that Ring of Honor are getting 1 million fucking viewers from this shit. Overall thoughts on this show?
Again, throughout the night, it gave us mention and build towards the pay-per-view, but the entertainment for me just really weren't there. Kevin Steen made the night for me. The rest of it, yes, it was pay-per-view build, but there just really weren't a lot to it for me.
The main event, such a waste of time. Why even bother? And then the Inside ROH segment, way too long, even though it did hype some feuds. There's some stuff I'm looking forward to Showdown in the Sun, but I mean, like, the segment between O'Reilly and Cole set up the match. It's just that why have Kyle O'Reilly, who can't talk on the mic, as a heel? Why have Kyle O'Reilly as a heel? I've seen Adam Cole's work in CZW, and I know he's much better as a heel than Kyle O'Reilly is, and I just don't understand why they're doing this, and what is so special about these two guys. And, you know, the Steen segment was the best segment of the night, because the guy we can actually give a shit about. And then the main event, why did we give a shit about it? This Kyle O'Reilly, you know, Adam Cole thing, why would we care about it when they're just two generic Ring of Honor guys that only Ring of Honor diehard fans are going to care for and no mainstream fans are ever going to give a shit about because they're just the same old shit and nothing different, nothing stands out.
So overall, I'm glad it gave us pay-per-view stuff, but it just weren't the best show for me.
It's shit like this, why we're giving Ring of Honor shit. And all the ROH fans out there that give us shit for giving it shit, look at the product. Look at how far the product has gone down since Best in the World. That's all I really need to say. All the people out there that say Ring of Honor put on great shows and they're always 7, 8 out of 10. You're wrong. The product is boring as fuck, and it's really hard for us to watch. Even me, as a diehard ROH fan who has ROH DVDs, is finding it very hard to watch this TV show, and I think a lot of people are going to be similar to me on that sense. Do we just go?
Well, people, all I can say now from Mr. Parkin and me, NJ, till next time, people, please leave your comments about this show in the comments below, and we'll review as soon as we can, and till next time, people. Goodbye.